Oh my God. What? Really? Holy shit. Oh my. No. Oh crap. I feel like I just witnessed a murder. Oh my God. In an upsized Mac Mini? Are you freaking serious? And the Mac Pro is coming next? Oh shit. PCs are done. Oh, PCs are done. What the hell? Oh my God. Okay, all right. You guys have to forgive me. I am just flabbergasted about this thing right now. This is just so freaking crazy. You know, we all thought that M2 chip was coming out. Personally, I would say no. I've posted a bunch of different YouTubers channels in the comments and saying I don't think that is going to be an M2. I don't think there's going to be any laptop or anything released in this event this week. I think it's probably going to be something else. The Mac Pro, personally, that's what I thought. This thing, the power is ridiculous. It starts with a freaking M1 Max to the max, okay? And it goes all the way up to the freaking Ultra. That's just crazy. Oh my God. Forgive me, I'm still reading through the specs of these things that you do in the order. This is just crazy. They went like next level crap here on us. This is, oh, oh man. You're telling me they're not done with the M1 platform just yet, okay? There's been speculation that they are going to do a M1 or a dual M1 chip. That's what people are speculating. They're going to somehow interconnect them and give us something in the 64 gigabyte up to 124, sorry, 64 CPU up to maybe more in this device. So right now, well, I shouldn't say CPU, GPU, because as we've seen right now, it's gone up to 20 core CPU and it's going to go up to a 64 core GPU. That's just crazy. That is crazy. Uh, Hold on. No. This is next level craziness right here. So, okay, let me pull this. Personally, I've been using AMD graphics cards, okay? And here is the Radeon 7 that I have, okay? Pulled it out of my machine because I decided I'm gonna, upgrade my machine. Intel's coming out with chips, AMD's coming out. I figured I'd wait for the AMD chip to see what's gonna come next, okay? So I'm used to having this massive desktop of a machine where you can slot in all these cards and upgrade as far as you want to go, all right? Here is the other one out of my second machine. This is the 5700 XT. I didn't upgrade to the new one because, of course, since they came out the 6900 series, well, the 6000 series, you just can't find these things anywhere, right? Nobody can find them. And if you do, when they do come available, you're paying like $2,000 or some ridiculous numbers just to get these devices. Nvidia, forget it. That's $3,000, some ridiculous number if you want those machines. So yeah, those devices are just crazy. All right. So here we are. We have something that's 7 by 7 by 3 inches tall, and it's freaking doing a performance of. I'm going to guess based upon what the speculation I'm on. I'm going to guess that this is probably the Nvidia card they're talking about. And that's going to be the 3900, whatever is it, XT, whatever Nvidia call theirs, TI or whatever. Actually, I don't think it was a TI. I think it's the 3900. But still, for what the prices that thing was selling for, this machine, you can get, it starts at basic, what, $39.99. So yeah, it's probably going to be a bit less on the card. But still, the performance of it, according to what they're saying, is going to be killer. So hold on a second. Let me spec this sucker up. Hang on, my numbers are going to be off, so you got to forgive me because being prior military, I always shop in a military store, so it's going to be slightly different. So if I spec out everything with an 8 terabyte hard drive, I'm seeing $71.99. So that's probably going to be like another 700 and change. It's about 8 grand for the complete system without adding anything else. No monitor, just, the M1 Ultra inside that little box. Oh my God. Most of us are not going to need that. If you do studio work and you want to keep everything inside and you want to spend that extra money, you can go for that one. The way I would spec this thing, and know me, I wouldn't go for the top level Ultra. I'll probably stick with like the 48 core version. The M1 Mac Pro that I have, the Max version, the 24 core GPU version, that thing is like a killer. It's like smokes everything that I have. Forget that shit. This, okay? This was smoking my PC. My Threadripper PC, this was smoking it, all right? I also had a, was it 3800X? Yeah, it's a little bit older. I didn't upgrade. I wanted to hold out and pick up the 5300, was it? No, sorry, 5800 XD, X3D, the new chip that's supposed to be coming out, and pop that in there. And you know, when one of the video cards come in, pop it up. I've always had a backup machine, so that would be my backup machine. All right, that was the plan. This thing just like blows all that shit away, because for what you can get in this, and let's see, going straight to the M1 with the 20 core CPU and the 48 core GPU, 32 core neural engine, $35.99, which I think is $39.99 in Apple price. So yeah, that's it before I traded anything in, if I want to trade anything on it. But this is crazy. For this little box and the power that it can do. Now think about it for a second. You're doubling the CPU performance of the M1 Max in this. Okay, this is a 16-inch 24-core machine. You max this out, you can get a 32-core CPU, sorry, 32-core GPU. 10-core CPU, 32-core GPU in one of these laptops. You max that out, starting on your M1 Mini, okay? No, I'm sorry, my apologies. $19.99 gets you a 10-core CPU, a 24-core GPU. So basically, no, okay. All right, so $19.99 is basically this machine without a screen, all right, without an extra stuff inside of it. So this machine has started out at, I think was $30-something hundred, if I remember correctly on it. I did a trade-in, so I have to go look at all those numbers. This is just a reaction, okay? It's a reaction video. I've not done one of these things, but this is just, I could not pass up doing one of these. This is just crazy. You can tell from my reaction there, this is just flabbergasted. This is like, what the hell? Apple just killed what you can call a small, any ultra PC that they want to say, hey, I can take these things and I can work with these things and try to, stuff on these cards inside of it. Apple went next level, like, yeah, dude, you can get a 7-inch by 7-inch by 3-inch tall box and it will kill your PC. Intel shit, I mean, we haven't seen numbers just yet, but knowing what we have on these, and the people speculated, kind of comparing to the desktop side, just that small thing is going to beat down anything you can get in the Intel what's it called? The 1200 series, the 12th gen processors. This is going to kick its ass. Not this, I'm sorry, the Mac Mini. I'm sorry, Mac Studio. Let's call it what it is, okay? It's not a Mac Mini, it's a Mac Studio. So it's going to kill desktop PCs. And remember, at the end of the presentation, the man said, oh, we're not done yet. The next one to get upgraded is going to be the Mac Pro. So you're telling me the M1 chip is in iPads, it's in MacBook Air, MacBook Pro 13-inch. They bumped the power on it to the M1 Pro. You can get it in a 14-inch and a 16-inch. They also went to M1 Max. 2 variations of that, but still. And now they've taken another step and call it the Ultra. Slapping 2 of those bad boys together. What the heck will they bring you in the Mac Pro? Good Lord. I mean, once we get this thing in our hands, well, other people are going to take theirs apart to see what's inside of it. You're going to see how this chip is laid out. and how much space it takes. But again, in a Mac Pro, who knows if they'll give us the same size case that they give us right now? I mean, maybe they could, but why? If they're done chip, system on a chip, okay, CPU, GPU integrated, is going to be this powerful that it can beat discrete graphics cards, why the heck would you want to build a system to come up with anything that can even manage a discrete graphics card? That means at this juncture, I think they're dropping AMD. I think AMD's days for providing graphics cards for Mac are done. And people out there with a Mac Pro, they're realizing that at this point, this thing is going to beat the Mac Pro. So it's beating the Mac Pro right now. Imagine when a new Mac Pro gets released. That's, oh, my brain. Oh Lord. This is just next level stuff right now. This is at another level. I can't wait to see what they're going to bring with the Mac Pro. At that point, I mean, that sucker was started at some ridiculous money to begin with. Starting this one at $4,000, that's not bad for the power that you're getting in this kind of case. And again, much like this laptop, most people aren't going to need it. And the people that do need it, they're really going to appreciate it. It's like I saw one of the people out talking about it. She said it's like flipping a switch. Things just like move, boom, 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 boom. The world is changing, friends. This is next level stuff, okay? We thought Intel and AMD is going to be next level stuff to compete with the Mac. And we were comparing their M1 Max chip to desktop processors. And seriously, in this package, you have something that can give you the same performance on battery and while it's plugged in. Exact same performance. Now you're taking that chip and you're doubling it and you put it into a little box and calling the Studio. That's beating the Mac Pro in performance. The iMac Pro, the Mac Pro, all those Intel stuff, they're showing you how much better it can do compared to what they're doing with just the basics, the M1 Max. And then now, the Ultra. Woo! This is crazy. This is crazy. If anybody out there haven't watched the video and you're watching my video on YouTube, I think you should go check out Apple's event and see what they see. You know, all the pictures that I have in it, you can see what's going on. If you watch this thing and you're into Apple, you get excited like I am right now. This was just like unbelievable. I could not believe they did this. Now, the other thing that they did put out, well, they put out a bunch of other stuff that I didn't really care about it. The iPhone SE, the iPad Air, nah, that wasn't anything I was looking forward to. But I have to give credit. The M1 chip in the iPad Air, yeah, that's something. I think my wife may want to upgrade to that. I don't know, we'll see. We were contemplating going with the 14-inch M1, not Max, M1 Pro for her, and replace the MacBook Air. Just because, you know, as we start traveling around, you want something that you can grow with. So she didn't want to have a big screen machine, but both of us said, hey, if they did a 15-inch MacBook Air, she'd take it. It'd be a little bit more than she wants for our size, but she likes the screen size of my machine. She just doesn't like the weight of it. And if she can get something that's a little bit lighter, well, you know, if they keep it a little over 3 pounds, at the same weight as, say, the 14-inch, but give it a 15-inch screen, she'd be happy with that. Now, saying that, knowing that a lot of times I've been talking about a 15-inch MacBook Air in an M2 version, I think Apple may surprise us. I think they may do that when the fall comes around and they start putting out some things to promote performance. We thought M1 was done. Everybody was looking at M2. I personally said, I think it's going to be an M1 Plus, maybe an M1 Ultra. I think I actually did use that name in one of my comments someplace. But I know for sure I did say M1 Plus and something very recently. And I think if that was going to be the laptop, they were going to slot that laptop in just underneath the 14-inch. If they were really going to upgrade a 13-inch version, they wouldn't do an M2 at this point to encroach on the power at the M1 Max and M1 Pro. They want to give this machine some time to be out there and sell so that, you know, when you bump the performance a little bit more on the 13-inch Pro, and the Air, you feel like, oh wow, yeah, it's been a year later, these things have got a bit better. It probably still won't be as fast as these machines, but the power could come close enough to it for people to say, oh my God, what will they do next year if they give a M2 Max and so on? Or will Apple just like say, you know what, we're gonna go full bore and we're gonna introduce the Mac Mini, the 13-inch Air or 15-inch Air in my mind, 13-inch MacBook Pro. Will they at the same time release a M2 Max and an M2 Pro? Who knows? This is all speculation, and at this juncture, yeah, we don't know. So maybe June time frame. I think June is when I usually have the WWDC. They'll probably talk about the Mac Pro and release it at that point. And I'm telling you, anybody who's thinking about something that's like next level pro stuff is just gonna love it. If I remember correctly in the video, I think they said like 18 streams of 8K video, 8K 422 video this thing can do. That's mind-boggling. You know, we were excited what we can get on this MacBook Pro. And now on this small desktop machine, because I've called it desktop, it's Mac Studio. For years, I've been saying they need to give the Mac Mini a little bit more power. Make it something that you really, really want in a desktop. Not just a small thing is like, oh yeah, it's a base machine, it's fine. Now granted, since the M1 chip was inside that thing, most people who bought it are happy. Most people who got it loves it. Again, my M1 Air, the 7-core GPU version, beat my Threadripper machine. And it sometimes doing rendering, it even beats the 8-core GPU version I have here. I don't know. So the M1 chip has basically shown that the potential was way greater than we expected. That interconnect is now saying, wow, do they come out with an M2 chip this year or maybe it's next year? I don't even know. Maybe it is going to come out in September, but they just shock us and say, hey, you thought we were done? No, we're not done. I don't think they'll put it in a laptop. I think it will be a little bit more powerful to put in a laptop for what it is right now. Well, then again, if they increase the efficiency, which means less heat overall for the M2 version, yeah, they can probably put that inside the, well, not two of them, just one. And I think that's what we'll get. I think the dual chip design is only going to be for that Studio and for the Pro. Maybe even a quad design or two of those, a dual, as Max Tech talked about, you know. An M1 Dual. We've had so many different names tossed out there about what it's going to be called. But oh my Lord, if they put out the Mac Pro and still uses Ultra chip, you could talk about 2, 4 of these inside one of those machines. Forget Xeons. Xeons are dead. Threadripper, yeah. You know, AMD's been holding off on that, what's it called, the 5000 series Threadripper Pro. I've been waiting for one of those to replace my machine, but it never came out. And now they just talked about it recently. It's coming out, and it's only going to go into purpose-built machine by vendors. It's not going to be a build-your-own kind of system kind of thing. This is an issue with PCs over the years. There have always been these big, bulky boxes that you have to put a massive amount of power in to get massive amount of power out. You got this little tiny box. What more could you ask for? What more? This is like next level stuff. I think, and quote me on this, if this actually occurs, you're probably going to have a lot more people jumping to Mac just for this desktop. Okay? Yes, a lot of people complain and say, hey, all the software is not there and so on and so forth. They're going to figure out a way at some point to put Windows on it for those people who want to use Windows. But for most people, based upon performance, you don't even have to go to the Ultra version. $19.99 for the Max, the performance you're getting out of this thing. Okay? Yeah, it has no screen. You can keep your screen at home and work with it. And $1,700, was it $1,800 for that? So the Studio Display is 27-inch, not 32-inch. Still not bad. But for under $2,000, you know, if they come up with a 32-inch version and make it a $2,000, that's even better. I'm using the LG, the full 4K resolution monitor that I got some years back. It's great. We're utilizing something that's a little bit less. Most monitors are a little bit less than the full 4K resolution, and it's fine. So thinking about a 32-inch monitor that now you don't have to spend $6 grand on plus a stand and all this stuff. Because I don't know how many of those things Apple sold. You know, if you're a big rig and you just want to have that bragging rights, what is it, $1,000 for the stand, $5,000 for the screen by itself? That was crazy. I couldn't justify that. $1,800 for the 27-inch, I could do that. If they were even $2,200 for the 32-inch version of that, I could do that too. They probably won't, but you never know. Maybe they'll come out with a Mac. Whew, my head hurts. Getting a headache. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna order one. I'm ordering one because I want to see what this thing can do. I don't even need to see, realistically speaking. I already know what it can do. This is just like next level stuff right now. Okay, I know what this can do and what it's doing right now. Now, granted, we know that new cameras are coming out. My camera does 4K. A lot of people with the more expensive cameras are at 12K. So looking at something that you can get, well, what was it? For the Z6 II or so, it'll probably go to 6K. I doubt it'll go to 8K, but probably 6K or so. In the next year or two, they're probably going to have 8K standard on some of these, you know, smaller entry level, what is called mirrorless cameras. And at that point, you know that this machine is going to handle it. That Mac Studio is going to handle it. So this is something that you can grow into. And if you're the kind of person that want to go max it out in the beginning because you want to hold it for 7 years, I typically hold my thing for a long period of time. That's why usually I go either like almost to the top or to the top when I buy stuff. This is just making me saying, I don't think I really need anything more at this juncture, but the desktop to have as a backup machine, yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Your time is up. I think the normal PC build is up. There are a lot of people out there who love building machines, and you know, I'm probably gonna get some flack from that. But I think if you don't have to build it, configure it, and go through all that, unpack it, plug your stuff in, and go, you can't argue with that. I take it. All right, so this has been a quick overview video. It's not really quick because I think I've rambled on for some time now because I'm just like mind blown on this stuff. But I want to do this one. I'll get into some more details about things as they come along. Once my machine comes in and I start playing around with it, I could do another video about that to let you guys know my experience with it. I'm pretty sure as it stands, it's just gonna crush everything. If I'm doing 15 minutes video in like 3 to 5 minutes, depends on how much screenshots and things I have inside of it, what is this gonna do? A minute for one of those things? You get your life back, basically. You spend your time editing, and then when you render, boom, 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 done. All right, I'm out. Talk to you guys later.